Hi guys, so my name is Ramasa, or you could call me Mazi. I think Mazi would be way easier for certain people just because my name could be a little complicated to say. And I really don't know how I'm going to start this video. I don't know how emotional or how vulnerable I will get. I might not at all just because it's something I've been dealing with for a while. But I wanted to talk about my testimony, how I got back into religion, and how I'm not going to share exactly what religion I was previously before I decided to convert to the religion I am now. I might not even speak on what religion I converted just because I feel like not that I want one day, but I just feel like when you talk about religion, I don't want nobody arguing about beliefs and stuff. I want everybody to just believe in what they believe in. There's nothing wrong with having your own beliefs. I don't want people arguing, people butting heads about what religion's right, what religion's wrong. Oh my gosh, sorry, notification. What religion's right, what religion's wrong. I just want people to have their own beliefs and be happy. So basically, I feel like my testimony has been around and I just didn't realize it. I had a lot of childhood trauma. A lot of it took place with the religion I grew up with. And it affected me and it made me like kind of distance myself from God. Not that I didn't love the religion or didn't want to be a part of it anymore at that time. It's just like I felt like I couldn't have the relationship with God and the religion because of what I went through. I also feel like because of what I went through, it made me angry and mad at God, and it made me question, was God even really real? So I feel like I spent like most of my teen years confused on if I believed in God, questioning God, upset, depressed, and it really brought me to a really, 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 really low place. And then as I got older, I kind of just wasn't into religion no more. I felt like I was more, I don't want to say full on spiritual, but I just felt like I didn't really know what route I was going to go. And I went like, maybe like almost 10 years without being into religion. And I felt like deep down there was something missing. Like my heart felt empty. And I felt like I needed God, but I felt like we had a relationship and not like, you know how like when people say like their mom and their dad, they didn't have the best relationship with, but they loved them. I felt like that was the relationship that I had with God at the time. So pretty much I just was doing my own thing, living my life wild, living my life crazy. Then I had a kid, and then when I had a kid, I became a single mom, and then my kid ended up having a disability. And that made me really question God, and I was really hurt because then I felt like, okay, not only did I go through a lot, but now my kid's being punished, and my child doesn't deserve that. They're an innocent child. So I had a lot of anger. And then long story short, I ended up having another kid with a different person. Me and that person were together for a while. We didn't work out, but we co-parented. And that relationship, us breaking up, that one really broke my heart. And then on top of that, we were going through a lot of financial issues, living situation issues. And I was calling for God then, but I wasn't getting answers and I wasn't getting help. And I realized it was because I was pretty much, I feel like, calling God whenever something was wrong. And I used to always stick to the motto, like, you have to pray to God when things are good and bad. And I felt like I wasn't praying to God when things were good. I was just praying when things were bad. And then when something good happened, and I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you, God. But then I'm not praying again until something bad happens. So I feel like even then, when my second pregnancy, with my second son's father, I felt like I wanted to get back into religion and get back into God, but I just didn't know how to. And then at one point, I was still claiming the religion that I grew up with. But then I would have people tell me like, well, how can you claim it if you're not living by it or if you're not really into the religion and stuff anymore? But some people knew about my trauma and other people didn't. But I did agree, you know? So I felt like that was the beginning of my testimony and I just had no clue. So then I wound up getting my like apartment like 9 months after being like in a shelter, and like my son who's on the spectrum like started going to school, like all like I had a lot going on, like a lot of blessings, but I still had like negative stuff going on. And because I suffer from mental health issues, I'm so used to just being sad, crying in my room, being depressed, wanting to harm myself, like all that kind of stuff, that I was still living like that. And then like it wasn't until, because this is the time frame I'm talking about, is from like 2020 to 2024 basically. So this all happened in 2021. I'm sorry, from 2022 to 2023 is when I started to realize like that was probably my testimony and I wasn't sure. So then my family started getting back into religion, which my family on my mom and dad's side were both pretty like religious. Like they both grew up with different religious backgrounds and stuff. So then I noticed my family was going through stuff. They were starting to have testimonies. They were like going through stuff, and I was seeing how God was pulling through for them, whether things were good and bad. And my cousin was always telling me, like, whether you stick with the religion you are now or you convert to the religion that our family is, which, you know, that was just something I was thinking about. She was like, you know, you'll start to see stuff. Like, you'll know that God is there. You'll see stuff. And as the time went by, I tried to get back into my old religion. I didn't feel like I had a connection with it. I was depressed learning about it. I was crying. Like, I felt like there was just no connection because there was so much trauma. And I also feel like the way I am, I'm not perfect. And I know when you get into religion and stuff, you do have to change things about yourself. But I'm also a free spirit. And I feel like the religion I was in, I couldn't really be myself and be that free spirit. So as time went on, now we're talking about this is 2024. I'm still trying to get back into religion. I'm just seeing there's just no connection. And then I started studying more about my mom's side of family religion, which I kind of grew up with, but not as far as in learning just like certain holidays and stuff. But my dad's side of family religion is really what I was raised up on. So I was like iffy. At first I had like no desire to like convert or anything because I'm like, I'm not converting. But then time went by. And then I think another testimony I had was my mental health was really, really low. As far as in early 2024, like I was really unhinged. I was depressed. I started like taking antidepressants. I started going to therapy and it was helping, but I still felt like something was missing. And I'll never forget, there was a night that I just sat there and cried. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, God, if it's not meant for me to be this religion that I am anymore, please guide me to what religion I'm supposed to be. And not to mention, I learned about so many different religions from 2022 to 2024. And for some reason, I don't know if it's because it's my family's religion on my mom's side, and I kind of already had an idea about it, or, sorry, I just burped out of nowhere. I don't know what it was, but pretty much I just was like, I'm gonna study that religion more. So when I studied that religion, it was like joy to me. Like I was happy. It was a complete different religion from what I was used to. So I didn't understand certain stuff, but I didn't give up. It was like I was motivated to learn more and more. And then over time, I wind up telling like my cousins and my mom and everybody that I wanted to start practicing the religion more. I wanted to like convert. And then when I converted, I realized how much positivity came when, sorry, I knocked something down. I realized like how much positivity came in my life when I converted. I started to become happy. I realized I had control over my mental health. I realized that I was like looking forward to reading like the religious books, attending like religious not event, I guess you can say, because like I said, I'm kind of keeping it discreet because I don't want nobody to argue about religion in these comments. But like it was crazy to me because it was like so much happiness. And then when my cousin said, you'll start seeing stuff, I realized I started seeing stuff. And I realized like the more and more you get closer to God, the devil's always going to try to attack you. So you do have to prep yourself for that, whether you're converting or staying whatever religion or getting back into religion or you're new to religion, the devil's going to test you. There was so many times I got tested. There was one time I encountered, like, I was on transportation. The transportation I was on, they had a bathroom. It was public transportation. I needed to go change my son real quick, and I had to use the bathroom. And there was something carved on the bathroom stall when I shut the door. And what was carved into the bathroom stall, I don't know how long it was there on the bathroom stall door, but what was carved into it was like crazy, because whoever carved that into the inside of the bathroom door was trauma that I went through. And I'm like, the old me would have wanted to like, if you know what I mean. And the old me would have been like sad and crying. And I'm like, this is just the devil trying to attack me. Not to mention, before I took my son to the bathroom, I was reading a religious book. You might hear my other son in the background. But before I took my son to the bathroom, I was reading a religious book on the way to where we were going. And then on the way back is when we went to the bathroom while we were on public transportation. And I was reading the religious book before I took my son to the bathroom. So I felt like that was the devil testing me, because you see, I'm getting close with God. You see, I'm reading my religious book. You see that I'm trying really hard to build a close relationship with God. And then how ironic is it that I go to a bathroom And out of all the stalls, I picked the stall that has some sad stuff carved into the inside of the door, which just so happens to be stuff that I went through. And some people might be like, no, that's just ironic that that happened. But I personally believe that when you try to get close with God, the devil will try you. You might have a day where everything might be going good, and then you might have a flat tire, and now it's going to cost you too much, and now you're stressed out about how you're going to pay for it. Even though that could just happen in general, the whole point is the devil wants you to think the worst case scenario. Stuff is going to happen no matter what. Every day we get up, we're going to go through stuff. That doesn't mean it's always the devil, but how you think, how you react, how you program, how you operate, anything negative that comes in your head, that's what the devil wants. The devil always tries to pull you closer to negativity, or he's always trying to make you think negative whenever a bad situation happens, because he doesn't want you to trust God. He doesn't want you to rely on God, and he doesn't want you to think that you're going to be okay. And like I said, if that was the old me, I would have panicked or got upset and cried. But I just knew this is what happens. Like, yes, this might be ironic, but this is what happens when you want a closer relationship with God. You're always going to be tested. You're also going to have people that are going to be confused or not supportive, or maybe that you are going to have supportive people. You might even have people that don't like that you change certain stuff about yourself. But when you're trying to have a relationship with God, it's worth it. And if you feel like you are going through a testimony or like a journey, or you feel like God is calling you, or a religion, even if you don't have a religion but you believe in God, if you feel like God is calling you, take it. Because I'm telling you, once you get vulnerable and really allow God in your life, and you're not going to change overnight. It takes time, and God knows that. God doesn't expect you to be the perfect person. I guess that's why I was scared to get back in religion, because growing up, the religion I was in, my father was so strict. It's like we had to be perfect in his eyes. And it made me feel like I had to be perfect to have a close relationship with God, but you don't. We all sin, we all make mistakes, but as long as God sees that you're trying and you're trying to change and you're doing better. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I keep having to like burp randomly. Sorry. Anyway, as long as God sees that you're trying to get close to him and you're trying to fix yourself, he's always going to love you. He's always going to be there for you. But I will say, like I used to tell myself, don't just pray when stuff's bad. You need to pray for everything. When things are good, even when things are mediocre, when things are bad, pray that he woke you up. Pray and thank him for you having healthy kids, your job, your car, like your place. Like, you need to just pray in general. Pray for your mental health when you're down. When you're depressed, read a religious book. Listen to some preaching or whatever belief you have. Go for a walk. Like, listen to music. Clean up. Do something. Because I'm telling you, the closer you get to God, the more and more. The closer you get to God, the more and more the devil will test you. And that's the last thing you need, is for the devil to test you. So I hope that anybody who's struggling or trying to figure out their testimony, everybody has their own testimony. Everybody has their own storyline. Everybody goes through their own stuff. You will know when God's calling you, and when you're ready to go to him, he will be waiting there for you, and you will be thankful. And it's going to be a long journey, a roller coaster, vulnerable, being emotional, but that's okay. That's what he wants. He wants you to be open arms and trust him and be comfortable enough to let him help you. So I hope this helped everybody. I will be trying to make more videos on YouTube. I don't necessarily know what my channel is going to be about, but I know I want it to be like motivational stuff. So I hope this helped anybody. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.